The first time anyone saw Fern, she was barely visible, just a tiny, lifeless shape at the bottom of a dumpster. In the middle of the heat, she had been thrown away like garbage. Her body was thin and motionless, her breathing weak, but her eyes still held on. That was the only sign that life was still in her. She had been through more than most could imagine. Alone, hungry, and scared, Fern was at the very edge of survival. No one knew how long she had been there. She was so weak that she couldn't lift her head. Her temperature had dropped to a dangerous level, and she could only manage to swallow a few drops of water. Most of her tiny body had shut down. When a rescuer finally reached her, it looked like it might already be too late. But something about her, those tired eyes still fighting, said she hadn't given up yet. And neither would the people who found her. At the vet, even the most experienced staff were shocked by her condition. One of the doctors, holding back tears, said it was one of the worst cases he had ever seen. And yet, this little dog still had a heartbeat, still had a chance. That was all she needed. For the first time in her life, Fern was wrapped in soft blankets, not trash. She was held gently, not tossed away. She felt safe. It was clear she hadn't known kindness before. But now she was getting all the care, warmth, and love she had missed out on. The first night was full of worry. No one knew if she would make it to morning, but she did. And the next day, something amazing happened. Her legs, though tiny and weak, began to move. She let out a quiet bark, as if trying to tell her story. And in her eyes, there was now a tiny light. Hope. Each day brought small improvements. The staff gave her a plasma transfusion to help her body heal. Volunteers sat by her side, sometimes just holding her paw or softly talking to her. Some brought toys, some brought blankets. They whispered to her that she was loved, that she was safe. It was the first time anyone had ever said those words to her. They treated her like family. They gave her an iPad to watch calming videos. They carried her outside to feel the sun and smell fresh flowers. She wasn't just another patient. She was Fern, a little dog who had been through so much and still chose to live. And then one morning, the moment everyone had been hoping for happened. She stood up, shaky and unsteady but standing. Her legs trembled and her body swayed, but she did it. She took her first steps. No one in the ICU could hold back their emotions. It was a moment they would never forget. This dog, once thrown away like trash, was now standing strong. Her body was still healing, but her spirit was unbreakable. She had every reason to give up, but she didn't. She chose life. Word of Fern's recovery spread. People from all over sent messages, prayers, and gifts. Blankets, toys, treats, everything she needed to feel safe and happy. It was as if the whole world had wrapped its arms around her. And then came the next chapter in her journey. She was ready to leave the hospital, not as a weak, forgotten dog, but as a survivor, a fighter, a little warrior with the heart of a lion. And she wasn't going alone. Ashley, the woman who had pulled her from the dumpster and made that quiet promise to her, was waiting. She had said that if Fern made it through, she would give her the life she deserved. And she meant it. Fern went home with Ashley that day. She finally had a family. Now, Fern spends her days surrounded by love. She has her own bed, her own toys, and people who care for her deeply. She's safe. She's happy. And she'll never be alone again. From being left in a dumpster to living in a home full of love, Fern's story shows what's possible when people care. Even the smallest bit of kindness can change a life forever. Her journey reminds us that every life matters, that hope can grow even in the darkest places. If this story touched you, give it a like. Even sharing it helps more animals find love.